ముందుగా ప్రియమైన విద్యార్థులకు మరియు వారి తల్లిదండ్రులకు నమస్కారం. నా పేరు కే వెంకన్న జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ చైర్మన్. నేను ఈ రోజు 10th క్లాస్ విద్యార్థులను దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని మాట్లాడడం జరుగుతుంది. అది ఏమిటనగా, మనందరికీ తెలుసు, గత 2 సంవత్సరాలుగా కరోనా కారణంగా విద్యార్థులు ఎటువంటి పరీక్షలు రాయకుండానే పై తరగతులు పంపడం జరుగుతుంది. ఫలితంగా ఐఐటి జేఈ మరియు నీట్ లాంటి జాతీయ స్థాయి పరీక్షలను సాధించడం కష్టతరం అవుతుంది. దీనిని అధిగమించడానికి మరియు 10వ తరగతి పరీక్షలో అత్యధిక మార్కులు సాధించడానికి నేను మీ ముందుకు కే వెంకన్న జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ద్వారా అనుభవజ్ఞులైన అధ్యాపకులచే ఉచిత వీడియో క్లాసులు, హ్యాండ్ రిటన్ నోట్స్ మరియు గత ప్రశ్నపత్రాల సమాధానాల విశ్లేషణ ఇవ్వబడును. కాబట్టి నేను విద్యార్థులకు చెప్పదలుచుకున్నది ఏంటంటే, ఈ ఉచిత వీడియో క్లాసులను మరియు హ్యాండ్ రిటన్ నోట్స్లను క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో కూర్చొని చదువుకున్నంత సీరియస్ చదువుకోవాలను. ఇంకొకటి ఏమిటనగా, ఈ యొక్క క్లాసులు విన్న వెంటనే అర్థం చేసుకొని ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయవలను. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడం అంటే కేవలం చదవడం కాదు, పేపర్ మీద రాయవలను. అలాగైతే గుర్తుండిపోతుంది. దీంతో పాటు మీ యొక్క నాలెడ్జ్ ని పరీక్షించుకున్న కొరకు త్వరలో ప్రీ ఫైనల్ పరీక్షలు కూడా నిర్వహించబడు. ఈ యొక్క అవకాశాన్ని సద్వినియోగం చేసుకోవాలని 10th చదివే విద్యార్థులకు విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నాను.
Now students, till now we all understood a brief, not just overall crisp discussion about this different sectors of the economy. Now the most important topic which we need to cover is, as I said, we are going to cover the important key points, throwaway points of this chapter. The next one will be coming across the differences between the organized sector and unorganized sector. What is this again? Don't get confused, okay? Till now I spoke about the 3 different sectors of the economy: the primary, the secondary, good, and the third one is the territory. And now coming across the 2 more sectors. What are they? Organized and unorganized sectors. The name itself says they are organized and unorganized. I'll tell you how. You understand these organized sectors as well as these unorganized sectors, you will be covering 80% of the chapter. Now for you to understand, let me define organized and unorganized sectors. What are they? We'll have a small debrief discussion, a small this is the things we'll just record. See, what is organized sector? What is unorganized sector? Organized sector is nothing but this is generally normally governed by government. Students, I have written in hurry the short form of government. You don't do this in the exam. I want every one of you writing down GOVRNMENT. Because of the limitation of time, I have written GOVT, but you all will not write this, okay? So what is organized sector? This is nothing but this is normally governed by government, and it has some sets of rules and regulations. For example, Indian Railways, you all travel in trains and all, right? Indian Railways, postal services, telegraphs, airlines, some of them. Recently now Indian Airlines has become into private airlines, that's a different thing. Before it was Air India was also a part of organized sector. So I think very clear, all these sectors, all the work things which come across and which fall under the government, the domain of the government, they are called as organized sector. So make sure, remember always, you'll have whenever you travel in the trains, you see Bharatiya Railway, Indian Railways, Dakshin Railway, this all you say no. So obviously what is this? This is nothing none other than Indian Railways. So obviously which falls under organized sector. Got it clear? Organized sector means what? Only one thumbnail. The sectors, the work which come across, which come under the government sector, under the domain of the government, they are called as organized sector. ఏవైతే మన ప్రభుత్వం మన కింద పెట్టుకొని వాళ్ళ కింద పని చేయిస్తుందో, ప్రభుత్వం ఒక తన ఆధీనంలో పెట్టుకుని పని చేస్తుందో, వాటిని మనము ఆర్గనైజ్డ్ సెక్టర్ కింద పరిగణిస్తాము. అండ్ నౌ కమింగ్ బ్యాక్ టు ద అన్ఆర్గనైజ్డ్ సెక్టర్. వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ అన్ఆర్గనైజ్డ్ సెక్టర్? This sector is largely out of the control of government and no rules and regulations. It doesn't mean that it does not have any rules and regulations. The rules and regulations they do have, but they are not as stringent as or some organized or something like government. They are a bit different from government rules and regulations. So they all fall under unorganized sector. Students, don't get confused. Only one thing you'll have to remember. Organized sector is all the things which fall under government or organized sector. All the things which are largely out of the government sector, they all are called as unorganized sector. I think this is very clear now. Thank you. Now we understood the important topics which to be covered in production and employment. We have got a crystal clear picture. Now let us get into the depth of every topic. What is the significance of each topic and how we need to understand, how we need to grab the subject from that. Now if you don't understand the different sectors of the economy, how did they vary in their graph in the tabular form, you will not be able to understand gross domestic product. What is gross domestic product? What did I say? It's nothing but the country's income indicator and monetary value of all finished goods and services is called as GDP. I said or explained you that. For us to understand gross domestic product, we need to understand how does our sectors of economy are functioning, what do they do, is there any change, need to compare every 30 to 40 years, is there any change in the graph, how is the industrial sector growing up, what is where does industrial sector forecast? Secondary sector, right. So is there any change in the primary sector or the industrial sector or even the territory sector? We need to understand this tabular form, which will be a very important question in the exam point of view from the board exams. Now we are into CCE pattern, continuous comprehensive evaluation of 10th class board exams of Telangana board. So for just not getting across the going through the textbook only fetches you something, because he will not ask you the direct questions, students, he will ask you the indirect questions. For example, I will show you a tabular form which tells us the growth and the which sector has mounted, which sector has fallen down, all these things will explain. Once we understand all these differences in this growth and fallen down in these sectors, then we will be able to understand GDP even in better form. So now for us to understand even this different sectors of the economy, what we will do is we will understand this tabular form, which is I am going to showcase right now. We will understand it even better. Once you understand this tabular form, the differences and what are the reasons behind these changes in the graph and all, then you will be able to understand the gross domestic product even more better. Now see what are you seeing in this tabular form? You are seeing 4 categories in this tabular form. We have mentioned the years, and the second we have mentioned agriculture. Now I have a simple question, which agriculture falls in which sector? The first foremost sector. What did I say? Primary sector, where nature plays a dominant role, and agriculture obviously it comes to the nature. So whenever you see the word agriculture, you should always think that it's a primary sector. Very true. Now coming back to the industry, secondary, what is industry falls in the secondary sector, and the third one, the services, which is the territory sector. I said in the first class that primary sector territory sector is also called as service sector. Now let us understand, let us not go even in depth of the immediate period of the post independence, because the economy took some amount of time to reconstruct it ourselves. So let's come back to 1970s and correlate between the 2010 across, and let us correlate what was the difference between these 40 to 50 years. Are there any indicators, was there any development wherein we can really rely upon? So let us focus on all those things. Now see, what does this tabular form shows? The following data, you have this in the textbook as well, students. The following data shows the percentage of workers employed in different sectors in India, which years? 1972-73 academic year, and in 2017 and 18, that is after a prolonged period of 43 years we are seeing the difference, so that we can understand very well. Okay.
Hello students, my name is R.K. Pandey. I have done my B.Tech from IIT Kanpur from electrical engineering. I teach chemistry in K Venkanna classes. I head the chemistry department. The main facility of K Venkanna classes is all the faculty are very rich in experience, and they have taught students who have secured single and double digits. They have got very good ranks in JEE and NEET. So if you are serious for your career, and if you want to pursue your career in engineering or medical, you are surely welcome here. The facilities includes not only the top tier teachers, but the other facilities like doubt clearing sessions and other academic as well as personal treatment that is provided by this institute.
And now this is the year 1972 and 73, and what is the agricultural percentage in this year? People were dependent, whole of the country, 1972 and 73, the people were dependent on agriculture. The figure was, the percentage was 74%. It was pretty huge, students. It was pretty huge, right? And now, in the year 1972 and 73, only when you come back to the industry, industry comes under which sector? Right, secondary sector. Very good, keep it up. So, in the secondary sector, the percentage was 11% only. Was not exemplary, but okay, fine, 11%. When you come back to your service sector, again to the same 72 and 73 year, the financial year, when you come across, what was the percentage of services? It was 15%. It was 15%. But when you see the difference in 2017 and this is 18 students, this is 2018. If you see, when you come back yourself to the 2017 and 18, you compare the graphs and the data which is being given, you take across, see the agricultural sector has fallen down to 44%. It has fallen down to 44%. And once we understand this data, we will discuss why did these differences happen. And in the 2017-18, the industry, the secondary sector has increased by 25%, which was 11% in 72 and 73. Now, coming back to the services sector, it also has an increase by 31%, almost doubled, which was 15% in 1972 and 73. Now, understand why is this gap between 74% to 44% and here for 11% to 25% and here 15% to 31%. Now, let us understand why is this difference between these different sectors seen so drastically, The first question which every student should get into their mind is 1972 and 73, the agriculture sector was 74, but in 17 it has fallen down almost half, but the population must have grown up tremendously. Then how did we meet the needs of the population for the food need? How did we meet that? That's a question which you will have to think across. The reason, even there was, the agriculture sector has fallen down from 74 to 44%, how did we cope up? The methods which we adopted in the agriculture, we took it from industrial sector. Means what? We were not still focusing on the ancient pedagogic ways of getting the agriculture. We adopted ourselves to the latest trends of the modern trends of We were getting all good harvesting things and all good things. Obviously, we transformed to the industrial sector. I think this point is very clear. By every year, we have India is the second largest populated country in the world. China comes first and India is the second largest populated country in the world. In 43 years, what must have been the population must have mounted triples. But even then, the agriculture sector has fallen down. But we could be we could able to meet the requirements of the people. Even though there was a drastic, the graph has fallen from 74% to 44%, because the reason is we opted, we have chosen, we have shifted ourselves into the modern technology and new ways of getting agriculture instead of focusing on the ancient pedagogic ways of it. I am not denying that ancient pedagogic ways of cultivation was absolutely, it was not healthy. No, I do not say that. For that particular period, that was really healthy, that supported it. But as and the technology kept on mounting, and even India also opted to the modern technology, even agriculture. If you look at us, agriculture today, it's like on the heights. Agriculture is one of the best professions today is considered as well. Now, let us not divert ourselves, okay. So, this is the reason from 74% it has fallen down to 44%. Even then, we were able to meet the requirement of the people was just because we opted all the modern techniques. We have incorporated all the modern techniques in the agriculture as well. Now, coming back to the industry, 11% was in 1972 and 73. When you look at across in 2017, excuse me, in 2017-18, that was 25%. What was the difference? Because the generation, the government, everybody were looking at the industrial growth. Believe me, students, without an industrial growth, any country cannot prosper. Any country cannot prosper. Sticking to its old principles, it's really good, but we'll have to adopt the new technology which we need to embrace, in fact, embrace the new technology which comes across. That's what India has done in the 2017 and 18. In the industrial sector, there was a drastical difference from 11% to 25%. That was one of the main reason. Okay. And now coming back to the services. Services, which sector does this fall in? This falls in territory sector, where only the people does the service like hospital, hospitals, insurance companies, all other things which come across. Obviously, when this everything is kept on mounting, the people who need to service also increases automatically, obviously, right. So, obviously, the people in the service sector, the territory sector also increased a lot.